So guys, we talked about how 2006 you both came across Ignition. Can you tell us a little bit more about the early experiences, the first couple of projects with Ignition, and what 13 years later continues to drive the mass adoption for our companies and everyone else in the industry about Ignition?
Yeah, so I think from day one, my experience with Ignition was it was different than anything else on the market because they had developed it from scratch to be the Swiss Army knife for integrators, to have a tool to actually get stuff done. And it just felt kind of in the way of like the first time I used Gmail. It just worked, and it didn't get in the way of anything I was trying to do, and it allowed me to do things in a way that just was intuitive and seamless. And their licensing model was different, and it's easy to walk into a customer and say, it's going to cost you this, look on the website, I'm not trying to screw you on price, I'm not going to make $100,000 selling you a license that only cost me $5,000 or something. It's, you know, it's open, it's unlimited, here you go. And that's really, made it easy to sell as a platform. And even something as simple as having the 2-hour trial, if you don't have all the development licensing and all that, anybody could get started, even if you're a student in college learning about PLCs for the first time, which if you're in a different world, like that doesn't exist, where you have to buy your toolkits and your licensing and all that. And I think they've continued to innovate and grow on that foundation. And it gets better and easy. It gets more out of the way, the better the product gets, it grows, and allows us to do more things. How's your experience been with that?
Yeah, I mean, I started using Factory PMI, Factory SQL for a very exact purpose in the beginning. We had an existing application that used Microsoft Access as a front end, Excel as a tool, and RSSQL as a tool to get data from a PLC into a database. And that worked horribly. It didn't work well at all, wasn't reliable. So I started searching for a tool that could get data from a PLC to a database, and then have a front end to actually work with that. And it was Factory PMI version 1 and Factory SQL version 2. So the timing was perfect, because if I had been a little earlier, I wouldn't have Factory PMI. There would be no front end, and we might not have gone down this path. So we built a solution on that, and I, at the time, I didn't know really anything about databases. I'm not a computer science guy, so I spent a lot of time learning Java, Python, databasing. And then just, as I started developing more and more, I just grew to love the product and wanted to stay. And like you said, when you got involved, there was no tag database at that point in time. So everything was very much a SQL approach, which had its unique scaling issues. So I've been just working with the product now for 12, 13, 14 years. I can't do math right now for some reason. But the product has gone from a niche tool in my mind to a full Swiss Army knife, like we've said a few times. So if you look at what you get for the price inside of Ignition, it's perfect. I've never come across a client that said, hey, I need you to do this, and there's never been a time where I said, oh, I can't do that in Ignition. There's always at least one way to do it, if not 4 or 5 different ways. And it's at the point now where it's like, do I want to train all of my personnel on 20 different platforms, or do I want to specialize on one platform that is really leading the industry into the kind of the next iteration of what system integrators are and what they should be? So.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is, getting into Ignition initially, it was, you see, Trimax on the website, you see Kymera Systems on the website, and it's like, here's the titans of the Ignition industry. And then you go to ICC and it's like, you guys are cool, and you're like willing to share. And if you go to a Rockwell conference, it's, you got to go in the back room and have the secret meetings and to get any information that nobody's willing to share because there's so much competition. And here it's, how do we collectively as integrators build a better community and an overall team, because the rising tide lifts all ships approach. I think that's really easy in this environment to do that, which is cool.
Yeah, and I mean, for us, I definitely spent a lot of time on the forums in the beginning. People that we are very much aligned with, such as Corso, we definitely share information back and forth. There's enough work going around. We're all specialists in our own rights that, I would consider Kymera still a specialist in the Ignition tool itself, maybe not in a specific vertical, but there's enough work going around, and locality is very important as well. So. We very much look at the group approach, the team approach, and it's worked quite well for us for the last couple of years.